Hello everybody, this is a quick recap of what we did in class today. So if you're looking at the agenda, you can see that the title of today's lesson is 1.19 Part 2. We completed Part 1 in the last cycle. That was when we read the poem called Ellis Island, and you completed that chart that asked you to pick out different lines from the poem that showed both positive and negative aspects of immigrating to America and both sides of the speaker's ancestry. So these two poems that are in today's lesson are also related to immigration. One is called Europe and America, and the other is called My Uncle's Favorite Coffee Shop. Ellis Island is an older poem. It is specific to an era when, in order to immigrate, you had to come through Ellis Island. The two that we're reading today are a little bit more modern, and they're also more specific about the person that they're talking about. So the way that these are presented is in an independent Pear Deck, which means that you work through it at your own pace instead of it being teacher-led. There are slides that allow you to read the text of both poems, and then slides that allow you to respond to questions about those poems. The last slide contains a link to an exit ticket that is part of the assignment, so make sure you don't skip that last slide. And then the last thing on the agenda is to fill out the rows on your brainstorming doc for all three poems from 1.19. So you may have already done Ellis Island after we read that one. Today you will need to add Europe and America and My Uncle's Favorite Coffee Shop. If you did not get a chance to do Ellis Island, you may do that today. So when you go into your classwork tab, you'll see that there is an assignment posted called 1.19 Part 2, and below that I have dragged the argument essay brainstorming up into cycle 17. So it was posted a while ago, but that's because, as you remember, this doc is following us through the quarter until we get to the point when we can use it to write your argument essay. So if you open up 1.19 Part 2, you'll see there is a sign-in for a Pear Deck. So that is what you will do first. That is where you will read the poems and respond to the questions. Now, there is a link to the exit ticket in that Pear Deck, but in the event that you would miss it or close the Pear Deck too early and not be able to get it back open again, I have also linked the exit ticket here. You only have to do it once. The last thing here is a Google Doc that has the text of all three poems, Ellis Island, Europe and America, and My Uncle's Favorite Coffee Shop, so that when you are ready to choose quotes from them to put in your brainstorming document, you have the text handy to copy and paste from. Now, none of these really require you to turn it in, because Pear Deck saves on its own, and as long as you submit the Google form, I will have it. But I made this an assignment just so that it shows up on your to-do list. So once you're finished with it, you can just mark it as done or turn it in or whatever you want to do to get it off your list. And then when you're ready for the brainstorming, you just have to open your brainstorming doc from that separate assignment. You can open the texts and then take your quotes out and put them in your brainstorming doc. Now, if you have forgotten what you're doing with the brainstorming doc, or if you haven't started it yet and you need some guidance, I made a screencast video that explains exactly what you should be doing. So that is attached to today's agenda. Make sure that you look for that if you need help. So once you have done all of those things, you are caught up and you are done for today.